Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. We go wherever we want to, do what we like to do. We don't have time to get restless, there's always something new. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. We're just trying to be friendly, come and watch us sing and play. We're the young generation, and we've got something to say. Oh. Anytime or anywhere, just look over your shoulder, guess who'll be standing there? Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. One time.
Okay, I'm going to admit this. I would save up my allowance to get Monkees records. I really did.
People say we monkey around.
Man, you know.
We're too busy singing.
And you know, they were the state's answer to the Beatles from the UK. And back in February of 1967, they met when three of the Monkees, minus Davy Jones, got to meet the Beatles. We'll talk about that and more in just a second. From around the world, away we go. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Yeah, poor Davy Jones couldn't make it. He wasn't able to make it to the big meetup with the Beatles. But, it's okay. One of those things. The Monkees theme was huge. 1967. Man, oh, man. It was way at the top of the Billboard chart here in the States. And number 8 in Australia, number 20 in Japan. He was number 10 even in Mexico. Unbelievable. And strangely enough, now they were a byproduct, a creation of a guy who was like really into concert promoting. He was a very smart guy. And that really wasn't the Monkees singing that song. I hope you know that. Don Kirshner was the one who was their manager and kind of controlled everything, controlled technically what would be called the Monkey brand back then. And so Kirshner started losing control of the Monkees, and because they wanted to be on their own music, right? And the first Monkey to make a song that was actually sung by one of them was Last Train to Clarksville. Mickey Dolenz sang with that. But it was with studio musicians. Interesting story about the Monkees back then. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. It's Tuesday, the 28th day of July, 2026. My name's Larry. Got the date right. That's good. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign in ham radios, Kilo 7 Hotel November. Welcome to Ham Radio Live. If you'd like to get your ham radio license, reach out to the American Radio Relay League at www.arrl.org. Just click on the contact part of the page. Let them know you want your ham license and where you live. They'll send you a ham club close to where you live, because that club's going to help you get licensed. You want to be fairly close. And here in the States, if you want your license, you're watching this program either live or on replay, you want them close because they're the people who give you the license exams here in the States. www.arrl.org. Also, a great Discord channel at ham-radio-live. It's free. You can use it to ask questions about questions on the test maybe, or maybe about how hard it is to get licensed in amateur radio, what to expect on the test, things like that, or maybe talk about an antenna you're building or a radio you want to buy, whatever. let us know on the Discord channel at ham-radio-live. If you are a newcomer to that, just accept the terms and agreements and understand you can't post on the Ham Radio Live information page on that channel. It's there for us to give you information about this program. Also, a great website set up by Rodney the Great in the Netherlands, hamradiolive.org. Just reach us there, and boy, I'll tell you, we'd love to be able to help you along the way, if maybe making calls on the expeditions or contests, or possibly doing some tropospheric ducting and ham radio weather, or even like look for a ham club there too. It's www.hamradiolive.org. Today's topic question. This is a neat one because I got a little segment from an old vintage manufacturer, little history segments, right, of Drake radio. And Drake is a special name. You know, the late King Hussein of Jordan was a big fan of ICOM, but also a big fan of Drake radios as well. We'll have a little segment on Drake today. And today's topic question, what vintage radio? We've never asked this question. A vintage radio would you like to try out for a week? Now, this could be anything not in production. So you don't have to go all the way back to Drake and Hallicrafters and Collins and all of those. You can just do maybe a current, radio that's still in production. Not in production. So non-new radio, but something maybe you'd like to have for a week. Give it a shot. See if you like it. Let us know in the comments section. Be fun to be able to pick your brain about that worldwide. Today's topical question is about vintage radio, but the temperature outside's comfortable today. 94 degrees, feel like temperature 102, heat index, triple ones today. It's not too bad. Remember the song we played at the beginning of the show? I knew that would be big because people loved the Monkees. Here's that album cover. Gosh, I think we've all seen this one. It was such a big album. And gosh, like I say, I remember I saved up my allowance so I could buy Monkey records. My brother would buy Beatles records. I told him long afterwards, like, Bob, you got away with this so much better than I did. You bought the right band. I just bought the guys on TV. So pretty fun stuff. Let's find out who's first, second, and third today on this Tuesday program. First up, from the state of Wisconsin. He's done this many times. Bill Myers, call sign Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India Mike. Bill, we'll be showing some pictures of your shack today. Thank you for sending them. Let's give him a big meep, please. Meep. Bill, good to see you. Very happy Tuesday. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Coming in, by the way, that's continent number one. We do need to clarify. That will always have to be part of this program. Continent number two is here. That would be Europe. I almost blew that. Gosh, Tom, I was that close, but I got it at the last minute. Pulled it back. It is Europe. He is in Bulgaria. Alpha Echo 1 Tango Papa here in the States. Lima Zulu Stroke before that because of the SEPT agreement. Find out more about that on YouTube. Or you can get him in Bahrain. The Kingdom of Bahrain is call sign Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. Hello, Tom. Good to see you. Third up, from North America, that is our dear friend Jeff. Victor Echo 3, Whiskey Juliet. Hello, Jeff. Welcome back. We had a fun show today. I got a problem, honestly, with this program today. And the reason is because there's honestly so much stuff that I have that there's no way I can share all of it with you today, because otherwise I'd be here for like 3 hours. It's a big bunch of stuff. But I want to share a little bit of what's coming ahead that I think you'll like. The history of Drake Radio, that's a neat little segment. They'll talk about some of the big radios they had in the 60s and early 70s. We're also going to feature the end of one of the medium wave stations in the United Kingdom. This was fairly recent, okay? This would be in the 2020s. So we'll feature that. It was a pretty big station in London. And they had a lot of other stations, they were simulcast throughout the United Kingdom. Will have their final part of their broadcast on their final close down. It's really pretty neat to listen to, although it's a bit long. So that'll be our sign off at the end of the program. Also, we have the thing I've told you about before about the end of CHU Canada. When we played the end of CHU, remember I told you there's some DQRM there. Something's on there because you could hear like That's All Folks and some other like cartoon noises. Wait till you hear this video. It's amazing just how much DQRM was played. I'll give you a hint. It's over 25 minutes long and nearly 30 minutes long. I'm not going to play all of it, but you'll certainly hear a big portion of it on today's program as well. So we're looking forward to giving you hopefully a good show today. Barry Wendon from the UK is here. Hi, Barry. Barry's got my vintage radio, the ASU FTDX 9000, and he's got the MP model too, which makes it even cooler. Hi, Barry. Welcome. Nice to see you, my friend. Bill says, I love the Monkees. Oh, man. I did too. Oh, jeez. Who was your favorite? Mine was Mickey. I liked drummers. Mickey was my favorite. In fact, his inspiration when I was young, because, man, I was like 6 or 7, right? But I remember watching on Saturday mornings, and I was like, he was the guy I liked. So I wanted to be a drummer. And I got to do that, which was kind of fun. So neat thing from the Monkees. Bill is here. He's about to go on a wonderful expedition to the Black Forest of Germany. I bet you're pretty excited, my friend. Sounds like it's going to be a fun time. I'd love to see some photos when you come back. If you can, share them with us. We'd love to do that, to share in your joy. It's going to be a great time with all those wonderful friends. Man, wouldn't that be fun to do? I really do. I envy you, Steve. I really do. That's Steve Hiscox, all the way from the United Kingdom. And some good words here. We got Rodney. We got both Rodney and Bill today. So everyone's going to be safe here on the stream. We're grateful for that. And Bill, good day, Rodney, and hiya. Sorry, good day, Bill Nimrod, and hiya, Rodney. But you forgot to put the great there. We have to address Rodney as the great. Bill, LOL, I bought the Monkees albums at garage sales, and I went to see them at the 20th reunion tour while I was living in Milwaukee. I saw that tour as well. Man, it was great. They didn't disappoint. They really didn't. And considering the real history of that band, because they were like actors, right? But they were put on stage and in silly situations and all that stuff. It was like 60s and 70s, early 70s humor tried like pushed towards kids back then, because the baby boomer gen was such a big generation for people to go to. So yeah, Monkees, man, that was cool stuff. Rodney, thanks for dropping links. I appreciate that. Bill says, I think that Michael Nesmith didn't perform during the reunion tour. No, he did not. But it was a very fun concert. Yeah, it was Davey, Peter, and Mickey Dolenz back then. Just the three. But it's pretty cool to see them. And they aged good, too. I think of all of them, they just all look great. They really did. The Monkees aged very, very well. Rodney, thanks for the links. You do that every show, and I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Rodney is first up to date to talk about our topic question, which is, what vintage radio would you like to just take a spin out for a week? Rodney has an interesting cut, and this will be like, I know he's going to do it like in segments, because there's a lot of great radios, guys. I mean, I've got more than one, so I hope you do as well. Rodney starts us off. Today's topic question, number 1, Yaesu FT 1000 MP. It'd be the Mark V Field. Would it be the Mark V Field or the Mark V? I had one. It was really neat radio. He said, or the Yaesu FT 847. Another good choice. Rodney, thank you very much. Nice comment. Jeff in Canada, he says, I volunteer at a Cold War nuclear bunker that has a radio club where we are allowed to use military radios of all kinds from the 1950s. Man, that's pretty cool. I got to shorten this up, guys. It's like I'm trying to peer over a fence at you. I don't like that. Okay, so that'd be neat. I was thinking we need to do a show about, gosh, I gotta find a way to do this. Hold on, because I don't want your comments to be squished like this where no one can see them. At the same time, I got to shorten the questions up or something. Or we just kind of do this. Hold on, let's see if we can make it work here. Okay, maybe we can make it work that way so it's not so bad. Okay, hey, we'll figure it out. Bunkers on the air. It's big in Europe, right? It's really big. And because they have a lot of bunkers, Excuse me, guys. I received an email from someone asking me, okay, what's the deal with the bunker on the air thing? I've seen people saying that. What is that all about? Here in the States was where the email came from, right? And I'm thinking, of course they don't know, because we really don't have a lot of bunkers here. We have some places that are kind of like bunkers, but in World War II, there were so many bunkers left, and a lot of them never got, destroyed or removed. So they're able to be used still. And hams being hams, hey, that'd be fun. Let's make contacts from bunkers now. And that's kind of how it all started. It's interesting, the history of bunkers on the air. Jeff, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Good news, JC is back. Welcome back. Good to see you. He says, taking my general later this week, but already started studying for extra. That is some great news, buddy. Congrats on that. Man, oh man. Let us know how that goes. So would you please? Because I'd be really hoping you're doing the best and that you get that. I'm sure you will. Honestly, I think the general, for me at least, my own experience, the general was easier than the technician because I was really nervous starting to take the test, right? I was nervous. And when I got in the general, I was like rolling. I was good, ready to go, go. I got to the extra, and there were some questions I knew I would not get right because I just didn't understand the principles, like of impedance on the Smith chart thing. I just didn't do well with that. Or what was the other one? It was the, the charts, right? In figure 4-3, what is the, and it's like, it's a point, and I could never figure that out. It's like flippeth four-headed coin. I wasn't good at that, but JC, you'll do well. You really will. Good luck this week. Let us know how it goes, because we're sure hoping for you. Absolutely. Barry Wendon says, Harvey Wells. I've never heard of that. Let us know about that, because I've never heard of a Harvey Wells radio. Let us know a little more about that, Bear. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tom in Bulgaria, FT 1000 Delta, the original. So the original 1000 series, which is a big radio, right? It's quite big. And that's a great one, really. It says the first gen with the real d'Arceville filter, not the LED one. You know what's interesting about those radios and that history, that lineage there, right? You had the 1000, and it was very good. It was a really good radio, well received within the amateur radio, buyers population and used market too, right? So then they did like the MP, and they did the Mark V and the Mark V Field, and they kept like doing spin-offs till they were like, they couldn't do anymore. And then they came out with the 2000, and there were so many people just juiced to look at that 2000 and buy one. And it disappointed most people. It wasn't as well received at all as the 1000. And then when Yaesu came out with their next big radio, it was the 9000, way ahead of the 2000, right? What's going on here, Yaesu? But then they came down with the 5000 and the 3000 and the 1200. And it kind of made sense what they were thinking, right? Today's world, it would be your favorite radio, Tom, that you've got right now, the FT710. So with Yaesu, with their superhets, talking about the last gen that they have, right, of superhets, entry level 1200, entry level day 710, and then the next one up, the 3000, that would be the FTDX10 right now. So then you've got the 5000, and that one is kind of not in place yet, right? It's kind of floating around somewhere there. I think they said the 5000 and the 9000 were kind of grouped together to make the 101D and MP, I think. But they've got those radios out, and they've done really good with those. It's been good, but I love the beginning, the 1000 Delta. Nice comment, Tom. Thank you so much. Jeff, CHU is just down the road from my QTH, less than a mile away. Really? Did you record the last moments there to 1410? Oh, gosh. Man, I heard it from here in Central Florida you can hear it. And I couldn't believe, like, I knew something happened. I played the video here, right? But it wasn't the video from my receiver here because my antenna wasn't up. I was listening to a WebSDR down here, and I heard a little bit of like, "That's all, folks." And I thought, well, that's kind of sad. I mean, after all the years that CHU has been here, you have to disrespect them by doing that at the end. But I had no clue it went on as long as it did. Man, it's an amazing video. Jeff, thank you so much. And Tom wishing JC some good luck on that general, and you'll do well with that. You will. You're going to pass that test, JC. And if you don't, pick yourself back up, take it again. It's just one more time closer to the extra license. Remember that, please. Rodney says, today's topic question part 2, the Heathkit SS9000. That's a neat radio. Well, that's like the end of Heathkit right there. That's the last big, cool. In fact, those radios, Heathkit was famous for sending out kits. You build it, you have it, it's yours. You've designed, design's already done. The assembly's not hard, but on the 9000, it was difficult. So a lot of the Heathkit people had to put those together. They were pre-assembled at Heathkit and then sent out. So it's interesting though, because that's like the very best that Heathkit ever made. That's a neat comment, Rodney. I like that. There's a lot of history there for sure. Steve's very excited, and I love the photos. Thank you. Looks like it's going to be so much fun for you on that expedition to Germany for sure. One last one here. It's from Bill Myers, and then Steve, I will get to you next. Bill says, today's topic question, I would love to operate a 10-tech Omni Delta. When I was a young lad just getting into ham radio back in the late 70s, the Omni D was the best, was the bee's knees, but at 16 or 17, didn't have the money. That reminds me a little bit of Martin F. Jew, right? Mr. Jew couldn't afford all those radios that he'd longed for when he was growing up and when he was going through college and started off on MFJ. And then as he started making money, he started buying those radios. Maybe it's a time in your life, Bill, where you finally buy it, right? It could be that time. So I hope maybe you think about that. If anything, just to have a really nice example on your shelf, on your bench, or wherever, where it's got a little place of honor and people go, wow, he's got a 10-tech Omni D. That's pretty cool. All right, Jeff and the rest, and Steve, I'll get your comments first. The weather today is powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. SFI number is 147. It's down 1 from yesterday. And the solar number also down 1. A index is 7. K is 2. That's elevated a little bit from yesterday. Also, solar winds just a little bit up. And our BZ latitude is kind of ticking down towards 0 again. That means there could be some fading out there on the HF bands. HF band conditions are shown there. Of course, no maximum usable frequency at US Boulder, but they'll figure it out someday, I'm sure. And you can see geomagnetic field as a K2 would be called quiet. The magnetosphere view looks pretty good. In fact, 4498 might be bigger than what people think. And if you take a look at how big 4492 has gotten, I mean, there's reason for hope here in the forecast. We did lose 4493 late this afternoon. So we're going to see numbers most likely staying in the 140s, but possibly with a big bump once 4498 comes all the way around to the front-facing side of the sun for us. Maximum usable frequencies don't look too bad today. In fact, look at that dip there. I took this picture exactly the right time because I wanted to show folks in Europe right there about 1330. Take a look at 15. It goes out to the west to the States. It clips over most of the southeast and it heads south and into South America. It's a great pipeline for you guys on 17 and 15 to work Central and South America. Right about 1330, UTC. Take a closer look at this. Here, take a good look. Here you can see 24 megahertz. So definitely 15-meter band is quite open. 25 megahertz as far south as right about Sicily. So still there is some 12 meters, but it's pretty south. But anyway, you get my point. You can go down into Central and South America pretty well there at about 1330 UTC. Southern Hemisphere looks great. All the bands are open. Kind of a big 30-meter cloud that doesn't go very far. Just a second, guys. Oh, I thank you. I can only talk for so long before there's just no voice left. 30 megahertz right there in South America. It's kind of a small little area of 10 meters, but there's a larger area as well. So you can certainly talk from continent to continent, South America to Australia and Africa there, and great conditions there as they're getting through the middle winter in the Southern Hemisphere. Can you believe it, guys? Wow. Your HF forecast powered by ICOM for the love of ham radio. Daytime ham radio bands, stable SFIs, S0 to S2 noise floors at times through tomorrow. Best DX in the north, 20, 17, 15, and 12 meters. 12 meters going to come late in the afternoon, early evening hours. Best DX in the north going to be 20, 17, and 15. No. Southern Hemisphere, your best DX, 20 to 10 meters. Nighttime ham bands, stable SFIs, noise floors S0 to S2 through tomorrow. Nighttime amateur band openings 160, 80, 60, 40, and 20 overnight. Works pretty good. You might work 20 for quite a few hours after sunset with this decent SFI out there. Shortwave DX, here's your daytime shortwave. Good noise floors. They're quiet. We also have reasonable solar flux index numbers and not too much fading out there. So it's a good day to DX shortwave. Daytime shortwave 31 meters, 25, 22, 19, 15, and 13 meters. Nighttime shortwave SFI should stay stable. We should be in the 140s for the next couple of days. Quiet noise floors through tomorrow. Shortwave nighttime from 120 meters all the way to 19. And your top DX bands will pick you a handful. Let's go with 49, 41, 31, 25, and the 19-meter band after dark works quite well. I hope you enjoy your HF radio today. Give me a second to get a little drink and we'll continue the show today. We have a great email that people around the world have sent me stuff. It is the neatest thing to open up sometimes because you don't know where an email is coming from. Today, we've got quite a few, and I'll share just a few with you, and I hope you enjoy. Bill in Wisconsin, Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India Mike, he got a brand new desk, and this isn't just one of those, normal desks. It's like kind of like a sectional desk. No, this goes up and down too. I'll show you in a second. It would be perfect for the Larry chair that I sit in here and that keeps going down on me. Notice he's got the nice space heater, one of those oil-filled heaters there. He lives in northern Wisconsin. You got to have that. And look at the gear. Bill, this is done so well. I love the lighting. I love the coziness of it. It's just a really beautiful shack. Isn't this nice? This is Bill, Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India Mike shack in Wisconsin. Take a look here, guys. Now it's in the down position, so he can set it up for the height he wants to work. If he wants to stand up, he can put it up high. If he wants to sit down, he can lower it down too. Here's the video of it going down, kind of like when Larry's chair breaks, so you can get an idea here. There he goes. That's Bill's little desk station. Bill, I think it's fantastic. Look at that. That's great. You can see his Mercury 3S amplifier here. You can see his 7610. I believe, there's his ICOM 7300. Bill, this is a beautiful shack. Thank you so much. Gonna break a little bit with some applause here. Good job, Bill. He's got a weather station there. That's beautiful. Also, I want to thank Brad here in the beautiful state of Florida. Take a look at this. He's got some antennas. He's built these. These are out of bicycle spare parts. I kid you not. Take a look at this. These are like spokes from a bicycle wheel. And then take a look at this. These are pieces as well that he's put together for an antenna. This is all his own creation. And he told me, Larry, they work just fine. Brad, thank you. That's great stuff, Brad. That's great that you put that together yourself and you made them work. That I told him in the email, hams are unique in this world. If I was an employer, I would hire a person who was a ham licensee over people who weren't. Why? Because they're people that find a way to make a problem get resolved. They can pick up stuff in their house that isn't being used and make a product out of it. Most hams can do that. They're very resourceful. They're very smart. And Brad, what you showed me there, I love that picture right there. It's really good. And take a look at his shirt. It's great. Shut up. Stop thinking. Do as we with the TV. That's brilliant, dude. Thank you. Oh, man, that's good. Also, I want to thank Tom, who sent something into the show yesterday, and it made me really think of how far shortwave has come. And it's too bad it's this late in the game that something so revolutionary would be made. I have to show you, this is really, really cool. For those that love shortwave, right, like we do, you're going to be amazed at this antenna. It's located just barely in the United States in Monticello, Maine. Here's Tom on our chat today. Alpha Echo 1 Tango Papa. He's a Maine native. He sent me this video, and I'll put the link to it in our description video of station WCBQ in Monticello, Maine. You won't believe this antenna, guys.
On the outskirts of the small-town community of Monticello in northern Maine. The most visible sign of WBCQ is its massive antenna array towering above the treetops. Since nobody is building large-scale rotatable antenna arrays with variable beam width patterns in the U.S., the Wieners had to look to Europe for the solution.
Okay, so I need to clear something up. The people that own the property that WCBQ is on, the last name is Wiener. That's their last name, okay? This is the tower that they put up on their property. Take a look at this. Is amazing. Thanks again, Tom, for a great video.
Well, it's the antenna itself. I guess you would say the brains in the antenna.
Yeah.
That was Germany.
Yeah. Everything was fabricated in Germany and Switzerland, and was shipped over here from Germany and parts from Switzerland. Some of the steel parts were fabricated, believe it or not, in China, and they were shipped from, I think, Hong Kong and Singapore. So the antenna is very international. It has components from companies all over the world. The electronics in it are primarily from what, Siemens?
Yeah, in Italy.
In Italy. And some other controllers are from other European nations. So it's really an antenna of international proportions. It's a massive computer structure. There are motor controllers. There are digital sensors that monitor certain parts of the antenna that are water cooled. There's a section of the antenna called the tubular section, which comprises about 100 feet from the base up to a superstructure that goes another 120, 130 feet up. And in that tubular section is all kinds of massive switching, and there's the antenna tuning unit, which matches the 500,000 watts from the transmitter to the various dipole antenna bays.
The antenna mast at WBCQ is 260 feet high and weighs 400,000 pounds. For an antenna of this size, it was an engineering miracle to design the tower to be fully rotatable through 360 degrees and allow for instantaneous adjustment of the radiation pattern of the RF energy from wide to very narrow, similar to an adjustable beam flashlight.
Because the antenna is actually made up of 16 dipoles that are switchable in all different kinds of configurations. It's kind of like a radio searchlight is the best way to describe the great antenna that we have here, built by Ampagon in Switzerland. It can be like a flashlight that has a controllable beam. We can do the same thing with that antenna. We can set the dipoles at various configurations to make the beam like fat this way, narrow this way, or fat this way, narrow that way. And that helps us get into just about any country on Earth, depending on where we're pointing it. All the dipoles act as the radiating element. The reflector is a huge copper screen that is mounted behind the dipoles. It's actually known as a curtain antenna because it has a curtain of wires, copper wires, thick copper wires, behind the dipoles that give it directionality.
The antenna array is actually a dual band configuration with a matrix of dipoles on either side of the copper screen curtain that are designed for different portions of the shortwave bands.
If you look at the antenna, you look at photographs, you'll see that there are these big white dipoles which center around 9 megahertz, even though they're tunable from 5 to about 12 megahertz. Then there's another set of dipoles, another 16 dipoles. They're smaller. They're on the back, and they go from about 15 to 30 megahertz. So depending on the band of frequencies that we want to use, depends on whether we're using the white dipoles, the bigger ones in one side, or the smaller ones, which are painted red in the back. That's the versatility of the antenna. So the frequency range of the antenna is basically 5.8 megahertz up to 30 megahertz.
Isn't that amazing? Tom, in Bulgaria, Alpha Echo 1, Tango Papa, thank you. That's an amazing video. And that's just the antenna portion of it. And I started thinking, here's this really small town in Maine, right? And all of a sudden, these cranes start coming. Can you imagine all these big pieces of metal and steel just coming in on these giant flatbeds for weeks and weeks? And then this giant 200 plus foot antenna starts going up. Oh my gosh, Tom, that's an amazing video. And what a technological miracle to make something like that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, I want to thank and welcome Gunter from Germany here, DK5ONV, to the show. Gunter, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming. You know, if you have a chance to this weekend, there's going to be a little expedition of guys getting together from Europe in the Black Forest. I don't know how far that is from where you live, but you probably fit right in with them. They'd love to have you join them, I'm sure. Talk to Steve here, Mike 1 Sierra Delta Hotel. This is Steve. Connect with him if you'd like to see if you can get involved with these guys. I think you'd have a great time. It'd be good for you, too, to meet some good friends in amateur radio. I think you'd have a ball. And they're working in parks on the air. They're portable like you. It'd be great. Tom, again, thank you for the video. Also want to thank Gunter in Germany for a very funny video. Gunter will send me stuff from time to time. And when I see these things, guys, I'm amazed. Like, Gunter, you've got a great sense of humor. Thanks for sending me this video. Okay, just in case you didn't see it very well, I'm going to show it twice because I showed Karen today, my wife, and she's, oh, that's AI. I said, nope, that guy's a magician, Karen. Amazing. Gunter, DK5ONV. That's an awesome video and a great way to end our mailbag segment today. If you've got a mailbag segment, your antenna, your shack, something funny, something interesting, maybe something off the wall too, we could certainly use that from time to time. Reach out to me at info@hamradiolive.org. That's info@hamradiolive.org. Also want to welcome Steve in beautiful, he's in the Carolinas today, enjoying the Carolina love and summer, and what a beautiful place to be. It's good to see you, Steve. Thank you for coming today, all the way from North Carolina, and joining the show. Thank you, my friend. Also, I wanted to thank Spike in Montana for joining us. November 1, Alpha Quebec Hotel. Good to see you, and thank you for coming. I'll get to your comments that you guys have posted, I promise. Also want to welcome a dear old friend. That's Walt Hudson, Salty Walt, here on YouTube. A YouTube channel that if you're new to amateur radio, especially if you're new to amateur radio, he's a great resource for you because he will show you antenna designs you may not have thought of and that you might be blown away just how affordable and how well they work. Walt is a gem to the amateur radio community. It's great to see you, my friend Walt. Thank you for coming back from Virginia. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. And he's so popular in the chat because people know him everywhere. Well, it's an honor. Thank you. Chris joins us from New York City, Kilo Echo 2, Hotel Romeo Juliet. He's halfway through that extra license study. You're going to pass that. We know you are. And a very good friend of mine as well. We met, it's like 3 or 4 years ago now, Raj. It's been a long time. I hope you and Maggie are doing well. Roger's call sign Kilo Juliet 7 Lima Lima X-ray, and Maggie is K9. Good to see you both, guys. Thanks for coming today. And I think one of the funniest comments of the show has to go to Steve because of Bill's desk that lowers down, right? It's a QRP desk, Kev. How low will it go? Brilliant. Brilliant. And Brad, regarding his antenna, and we showed you the pictures of them, right? From spare bicycle parts. Ham radio. They just find, I can make something out of this. Watch. And then they just work on it until they make it work. Brad says the requirement was lightweight, pack small, and deploys with tiny footprint. I think you accomplished all of them. And he said it was YouTube inspired, which is pretty cool too. Bill also says, thanks, Steve. It will go down to 31 inches and up to 46. Perfect. And there is Bill's Kelly. Kelly Holton, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining me today. It's great to see you. Thank you for getting Bill a really cool desk. I love it. Robert Varner joins us from New Jersey. Good to see you. And Roger, I think Robert has the thing here that we all would feel, right? Wouldn't we love to have that antenna for our ham radio? Wouldn't that be great? Kind of just, let's go towards not just China. Let's just beam it straight at Hong Kong and make calls. What a great antenna. That's just so cool. And yeah, G-Man, 500,000 watts. It wouldn't stink, man. Yeah. Chris, the antenna's unreal. How much did it cost? Afraid to ask. I think they mentioned it was over $1 million. It was over $1 million. And it was like a Christian church group that had deep pockets, and they told him that they wanted to put their programming on his shortwave station, right? And he said, sure, that'd be great. And they asked him about his coverage map, how well they transmit, all of that. And he says, oh, well, it's kind of small. We're kind of a mom and pop thing here. For us to really be able to send things worldwide, we would need an awful lot of money. And they worked out an agreement. And then the trucks started coming, and I'm sure the neighbors started going, oh, no. Yeah, that's it. But amazing how they did that. Truly, it looks like a miracle. Kevin, welcome. Kilo Zero, Kilo Lima Bravo, all the way from Iowa. Great YouTube channel there as well. Truly special. And Dennis is checking in for the log. Good to see you, my friend. Kilo Fox Zero, Romeo Lima X-ray. And Steve, humidity rich. And I'm in I always get the Carolina wrong. I would flip a coin. I'll get it wrong. Now I remember, because I have a good friend in South Carolina who's in Columbia, just outside Columbia. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Larry's getting old there, my friend Steve. Thanks for your kindness in understanding, for sure. Jeff says, not familiar with WW bunkers on the air. We'll have to check it out. And that's what I was telling you earlier, guys. The bunkers on the air thing is I had to tell this viewer that asked me in this email, right? I don't get the bunkers on the air thing. It's more a European thing because they have so many. But here in the States, there are places where you can do a bunker on the air. There's a great website you can go to. Just search Bunkers on the Air ham radio, and you'll find a list of them close to you in your area. All right, let's get into something now that I hope you enjoy. This is just a little tiny segment that I thought you'd have some interest in. We showed on our channel not long ago the end of CHU Canada. This was really a big deal. We lost what we think most shortwave people would call CHU a necessity. It's a time signal station that's been with us our whole lives for the most part. When CHU went quiet in June of this year, it left a big void. And yes, we still have WWV and WWVH ticking along, but who knows how much longer that's going to be. The bad part about the end of CHU was what happened after they cut the transmitter off. Take a quick listen. This is the last few seconds of CHU and what happened afterward.
CHU, Canada. Coordinated Universal Time. 14 hours, 10 minutes.
DickBolger.com.
This is the original range number.
So this is not all that they did, but this is the beginning of it. And this went on for 29 and a half minutes, guys. So as they got towards the end of their DQRM machine game, this is what the end of it all was before they finally stopped transmitting.
Vote for Dick Bolger.
Roast beef.
DickBolger.com.
At the tone. Dick Bolger!
And that was the end. That was it. So the end of CHU, which was tough for all of us, was marred by somebody who had to get attention. I think it was Daniel in New Hampshire yesterday that said, people have to get attention. Sometimes they're the hero, sometimes they're the heel. And he's right. This is an example of someone who just wanted to take a chance at a time when a lot of people would be listening. Because we all knew when CHU was going to go down, right? And then I'm surprised there's only one of them who did it. But still, to have that much go on for almost a half hour, how could they not triangulate that signal? I hope that they could. And I agree with you, Gunter. Terrible sound. It was a shame to do that. He said it would sound way better listening via the NRD 525 receiver. Oh my gosh. That's the end of CHU, unfortunately. Yeah. And Walt, you're too kind. Bless you. I mean that. I say that. I mean that when I say, for people who really want to excel in amateur radio, your channel is great because you show especially antenna products that can help them get accelerated learning in amateur radio and have success doing it. That's the key. What we have a problem with, I think, in our country right now is our band plan and what we give technicians could be better. But the fact is, it is what it is. License up to general. You'll make calls then. And that's when you watch Salty Walt's videos. Oh man, you're going to grow so much in what you learn doing amateur radio. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about diversity receive. I didn't have time to do it in today's show, but it's really an interesting thing. I want to go over this to just kind of whet your appetite a little bit. If you're a victim of fading signals, you know, the the QS Baltimore, the QSB on the band's driving you nuts from time to time. a diversity receive radio, and if you got the room for two decent antennas, you can put up a dipole, you can use a vertical, you can do it as long as they're at least a half wavelength apart, preferably a full wavelength apart. If you're able to do that, man, oh man, what you can do to stop fading on signals is astounding. And I've got a video coming up tomorrow I'll play that I'm going to ask you, listen to us in headphones tomorrow. Not because you're hearing my voice. Turn the headphones off for that part. Just put on the diversity receive video and use the headphones. It'll astound you at the sound you can get by hearing in two different channels from two different antennas placed about a wavelength to a half wavelength apart. It's pretty darn cool. All right, guys, we're going to not be too long today because we got a long sign off. Well, I guess technically this will be a close down, actually. This show has done the close downs at the end of the program. Go 5 years now. It's been a long time. And we've never done this one. The one we're going to do today is from 1215 kilohertz in the UK. It's a great close down, and it's really a sad one because they played good music. I like, they're not playing like, some news or some opinion shows, those kind of things. It's not sports talk. This is music, and the end of it, it's just kind of a sad thing. And it's one less medium wave that's on the air in Great Britain, like is starting to happen here in the States. Have you noticed how many AM signals now are going dark? It's not going to be long, guys, before AM is just a forgotten memory, I'm afraid. Let me show you the reason for today's topic question, okay? What vintage radio would you like to try out for a week? Let me show you a little video segment that came across my feed, and I thought, I got to share this with my friends on Ham Radio Live. It's from Drake Radios. It's a great video. It talks about the history of their early history and then how they wanted to make like the Cadillac of transceivers. They went with receivers and then they went with transceivers, right? But what they made was like the gold standard here in the States. And I think a real good reason why the great JY1, King Hussein of Jordan, the late king, loved Drake.
The bigger development came in 1966 with a line of equipment that amateur operators still refer to informally as the Drake Twins, the R4 receiver and the matching T4X transmitter. Rather than combining the two functions into one cabinet the way the TR3 had, Drake separated them again, a deliberate choice because isolating the receiver's sensitive circuitry from the heat and voltage of the transmitter allowed for better performance on each side. The two units could be cabled together and tuned as one, using either unit's oscillator to control the shared frequency. Around the Twins grew a small ecosystem of matching accessories, the W4 watt meter, the MN4 antenna matching network, the AC4 power supply, and eventually the L4 linear amplifier, along with the MN2000 matching network, became two of the most sought-after accessories Drake ever built.
It was also in 1966 that an engineer named Ron Wysong designed the C4 station console, a control unit that let an operator manage a phone patch, an antenna rotor, a watt meter, a clock, and the AC power to an entire station from a single panel, and that would also ground the station's antenna lines automatically as a measure of lightning protection. Wysong is a name worth remembering here. He had a personal interest in photography, and it occurred to him that the etching process used to develop film wasn't so different from what was needed to produce a printed circuit board. He built an etching table out of plywood and scrap lumber, rigged a small motor to agitate it, and effectively started Drake's printed circuit board department from a hobbyist's workbench.
Isn't that amazing?
He would later go on to lead the company itself, succeeding Robert Drake's son as president. It's a small reminder that a lot of what made this company work came down to a handful of specific people solving specific problems, not some abstract corporate strategy. The rest of the 1960s and early 1970s were, by any reasonable measure, Drake's strongest years.
The company introduced a receiver for newer entry-level amateurs, the 2C, paired with the 2NT transmitter, aimed at operators just starting out under the FCC's novice license class. It built the SW4 shortwave receiver, originally developed at the request of Radio New York Worldwide for their...
Now, isn't that amazing? They built a radio, not only the receiver, but the transmitter, just for one class of amateur radio licensee, because the numbers of new licensees were coming in so fast that there was a big market for it. And then they built a shortwave receiver as well. Amazing stuff from Drake, really is. And, you know, I've got the video, and what I'll do is I'll put this on the comments. So if you'd like to see the history of Drake, it's worth it. It's good. There's a few things in it because they use the AI voice and he can't say certain words. It's like, oh no, you kind of shake your head. So that's why I stopped it where I did, because we're about to say stuff like, I think he said Halcrafters was Halcrafter. No, Halcrafter. It was like, oh no, it's just, you're messing it up. Stop, you know. But anyway, the Drake segment's pretty good. And it was one that King Hussein, the late JY1, loved. He loved Drake gear. Today's topic question, what vintage radio would you like to try out for a week? And the comments are interesting today. Let me share with the one from Germany. Gunther in Germany says the FT1000, he's the second one to bring that up. Tom did as well from Bulgaria. He also likes the FT990 from from CHU. He says we're the best flagship transceivers, I should say, money could buy back in the days. Gunter, thank you. Nice comment. Great transceivers and very legendary as well. Bill in Wisconsin says, I'm with you, Larry. I like Mickey Dolenz the best. Did you know that his mother invented liquid paper, the typewriter correction fluid? That was actually, that was Mike Nesmith's mother. Yeah, his mother did that. Mike grew up kind of wealthy, I would say. Spike in Montana, bunkers did not have to be nuclear facilities. Nuke missiles used bunkers generally on the West Coast, and there were a lot of them. Many are still around. Also, some major coastal large caliber guns. Yes. And the neat thing on this is when you go to the bunkers on the air site, it's really pretty inclusive. There's a lot of stuff there, and you can search it by continent too. It's really neat. There's quite a few places here in the States where you can actually get active on bunkers on the air. Have an offshoot a little bit on parks on the air, to be fair. Rodney, with today's topic question part 4, he says, honorable mention, the ICOM IC 7200, the ASU FT 891, the Siltronics 1011 Charlie, the ASU FTDX 5000 MP. Oh, that's a great radio. Oh, gosh. And the ASU FT 450 Delta. I liked that radio as well. I thought it was a very good buy for the money. You know, yes, you couldn't do digital modes. I get that. But it's an entry-level radio. If you know how to use a microphone, you're going to do well. If you know Morse code, even better. The 450D was a fantastic buy, I think, in amateur radio. I totally agree. As for the 5000, oh my gosh, the MP, what a brilliant piece of kit. I mean, you could sit there for hours and play with that radio. Just on the receive end. Before you key a microphone, you could play for hours just tuning in a signal. Oh, loved that radio for sure. And Spike with a comment about telling the year when I start the show. I've done that many, many times. And what I figured, Spike, honestly, was that videos have ages when you see them, right? So if you go back, say, for example, Ham Radio Live Show from 3 years ago, it's going to say 3 years ago in the algorithm. So you'll know, okay, that show, let's see, 2023. So that's why I don't do it. And oftentimes it's because there's not enough time to say the year as well when I do the open. So thank you for the suggestion. I don't know that I'll do that again, but I appreciate the suggestion. I really do. Barry, Golf 6, Juliet Mike X-Ray, today's topic question. Dr. Bob Heil, Silent Key, had one on Ham Nation. Look at the old Ham Nation, Larry. Are you talking about the 9000, or are you talking about that antenna? Because that antenna is one of a kind. The one that's up in Maine for the shortwave with WBCQ, I think. Man, that's a work of art. You know what that's like? I was trying to think of what that antenna would remind me of, right? In terms of just craftsmanship and just strength and ability that you can make an antenna do things that most antennas can't. It reminded me of like a Swiss watch. And so much of it was designed in Switzerland and Germany. These are places that are well known for just breaking the envelope, not pushing it, breaking the envelope of technology. And to have a 220-foot tower with tunable dipole antennas on a curtain array is, man, that's just fascinating to me. I mean, I don't know how they did that, but they found a way. It's an amazing gift to be able to do that. Oh my gosh. Brad says 6 and 10 are DOA today. Yeah. 10 will be that way until the fall here. 6 E-skip is pretty much done now at that time of year. Walt in Virginia, maximum usable frequency was strange today. 10 was open for a while here in Southeast Virginia, and I made a couple of SSB contacts. Yeah, that could be some E-skip there. Could be. 6 has been pretty quiet now for about a week. I think we're just about the end of 6 meters, but I hate to say that because you always want 6 to be open just a little longer every summer. Man, it's like, you know what it reminds me of when I was a kid? I loved picking berries, right? Like, you know, we would have in Oregon, we'd start with strawberry season. It would go into raspberries and then boysenberries and marionberries. It was just a great time of year. Spring, late spring, early summer. Gosh, it was great, you know? And 6 meter E-skip kind of reminds me of that. It starts to come up in May. It's be a little spotty, near like mid part, maybe around the 10th, 15th, 12th, something like that. It'll be open and then it'll close, open again, close. And then as you start to get closer to June 21st, it starts to be open a lot. And you're all of a sudden hearing people that are thousands of miles away. And then as July ticks forward, it starts to drift. Oh, I hate that time. I'm with you, Walt. I miss 6 when it closes. Rodney, today's topic question, part 5. I'm running out of fingers, Rodney. Receivers, Lafayette, the HE-30, the Helicrafter S-53A, the Grundig Satellite 5000, and the Helicrafter Sky Champion S-20R. I have never heard of probably 3 of those. Wow. Rodney, that's very good. You've got a good knowledge on old radios, man. Very impressive. Very impressive indeed. Man, oh man. And Chris, we're really hoping for you on that extra. I'm sure you'll pass. From what you've told me, you've got it, man. You really do. And anybody looking to take a test, the key is to, what I believe the key was, at least for me, if you have a way to take some practice exams, know the material the best you can. This is the best advice. Know the ham radio study materials the best you can. The things they want you to know. For example, if you're in the technician license, they're trying to teach you safety, right? Climbing towers, having antenna near power lines, grounding fundamentals, all these safety things so that you don't burn your house down or burn your neighbor's house down. Things you need to know, right? In general, you start to get like radio fundamentals, how the HF bands work, how propagation works, how single sideband works, where you can work it. You start getting the band plan questions, things that are necessary for you to know as a licensed general. Extra starts to give you more circuitry and impedance matching and all of these things that are a little deeper for people that want to go all the way. You don't have to, but if you want to, study up on those things. And then once you get a pretty good handle on how they work, start taking practice exams like crazy. Because I'll tell you this, you learn to pass a test, and then you learn ham radio when you start working one. You'll gain so much more experience and learning by doing it than you do by learning to give the answers they want. Seriously, I learned so much more when I turned the radio on and I started using it. It was like accelerated learning, and I loved every minute. Chris, you'll do very, very well. You really will. You truly will. A few more on the comment streams here that from this topic question here. Today's topic question about a vintage radio you'd like to be able to work. And I need to say a quick hello, Aaron Lutz in Saskatchewan, Victor Echo 5, Echo Mike Lima, Victor Echo 5, Lima Golf. Welcome to the show, buddy. It's good to see you. As always, a packed group today. Even Don's here from Texas. Hello, Don. November 5, Sierra Kilo Tango. He says, I like the type of diversity that uses phases, two antennas against each other. A non-radio do pretty good job of doing that kind of diversity. You know, the Anons are very famous for it. Apache Labs has good stuff. ICOM 7610 does great. The Flex radios do great. The key is make sure the antennas are far apart. Don't have a dipole here and then have like a vertical right over here, maybe 20 feet away. It won't work for diversity reception. They need to be apart, and then watch what happens. And somebody asked me in the email, gosh, this has got to be a while ago, probably 6 months. And they asked me about diversity because they were like, I hear it's really important. It's a great way to fight QSB. And I said, yes, it is a great way to do it. But the key is you've got to have a big enough property to separate the two antennas. Okay, well, do they have to be like beverages or loops on the ground? Nope. It'd be good if you could do that. But you could have a vertical over here and a vertical way over here, and it would help make a difference. You could have a dipole and another dipole way over here. It would still make a good difference. The key is catching the signal at a different point on your property, because that's what helps to break up the fading. Instead of it coming way out and way up like a wave, it tends to keep them a little bit the midpoint. You're still going to hear a little bit of fading, but by having them half a wave to more than one wavelength apart, man, you can get rid of a lot of the fading in there. Don, thank you. It's nice to see you. Happy Tuesday to you and to yours, my dear friend. Bill, let me just make sure I got everybody that, hold on, sir. Gunter, I cannot believe coming up Saturday's August 1st. I know, right? We've only got one more month of summer pretty much here. And yes, Aaron Lutz, love to have a Kenwood TS 930. Wow, that's an old one. That's a good old radio too, for sure. Love that comment. Aaron, thank you. Love that comment. Steve, might be 30-foot fiberglass pole with a flag on it for hole number 3. That's actually funny, but it's true. You can make that work. Gunter, Drake, Collins, and Heathkit were the royal class back in the days. Yes, they were. And Kelly, she's shucks. Bill, I could have told you it was Mike. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Bill says that his dad always thought that Collins radio was the Rolls Royce of radio. And you know what? That's the way it was looked at. Because here's what Drake did differently than, say, Collins or Heathkit. They tested every one of those radios. Before they left Ohio in their factory, they put them through testing. Every one of them. There was not a Drake radio that left the factory that they didn't physically touch and make sure worked properly. That's what made Drake so good. Their quality was so good. It was legendary, and that's why it was so big. Rico Man, first time, I believe Raccoon Man, sorry. Welcome, I'm Larry Dio, Kilo 7 Hotel November. Welcome to Ham Radio Live. We just talk radio. It's great to meet you. He said, I've operated Drake back in the 70s before the Japanese took over amateur radio. Wow, man, you have seen some changes, haven't you? Man, oh man. if I could have got my license when I wanted, which would have been 1978, I would have had the end of that and had more of your memories, maybe. Wow. You've seen a lot of change, haven't you? Jeez. There was so much in amateur radio in the late 70s. You had Heathkit still, Drake was still there. You had Tech, which is a big company back then. There's a lot of change that's happened. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. It's a great comment. Also, Andy, welcome. He says, hi from vacation, EA3, Delta Lima 4, Quebec Bravo /portable, right now on FT8, 17 meters with a smiley face. There's your spot. Thank you. And Don, who already has a Helicraft K4. Do you have the K4, right? Not the D. It'll soon be a D because you'll upgrade it. But anyway, he says the IC 7851, of course. And I'm sure you'd want number 1, no, 3, 5. One of the lower numbers. Nice comment, man. That's great. And Bill's wife, Kelly, she likes Peter Tork. You know what's weird? Karen said that too. And that's like, I told her, that's so wrong. I mean, his hair is weird. He played bass. No, no, you're just wrong. Sorry, Kelly. Jeff, welcome. That would be continent number 3. Nice to have you. Victor Kilo, number 3, Golf Bravo Echo. Man, it's early in the morning, brother. Holy cow. You've got to be getting up to work right now. Jeff, thanks for joining us today. Good to see you, my friend. I think we're just about caught up here. Steve, thanks for joining us. What a treat it's been to have you. And my friend, I'm sorry, South Carolina, it's in the book now. Jeff says, today's topic question. I'm with Rodney, Helicrafters, Sky Champion, S20R, or any Drake radio. Thank you very, very much. And Burn yeah. Long time ago. Man, that was back when I was buying like realistic receivers. I hadn't yet got into like some of the other shortwave stuff like the Sonys yet. I didn't have the money. I was a high school student, but I tried to save up money. I would always buy like a radio. It was just, my mom would be like, what are you going to do with all these radios? I said, keep them. I didn't have any other answer back then. Gunter in Germany, a vintage radio I would like to try for a week would be a Yaesu FTDX 560. Well, there you go. Not bad. And Kelly, Peter was not hot. I disagree with you on that. I can't go there with you. Bless your heart. Let's get to the Angry Hams, my friends. We also have trivia coming next.
You know, I don't think this show is suitable for children.
I don't think this show is suitable for anybody.
Question number 1 today of 3. You might like these 3. Which country has the most licensed amateurs in the Southern Hemisphere? The Southern Hemisphere, okay? A, Australia. B, Brazil. C, Chile. D, Argentina. See, I tried to make it A, with Australia, B, Brazil, C, Chile, and I couldn't come up with a D in the Southern Hemisphere. So you got Argentina. Oh boy, that's probably a clue, huh? A, B, C, or D? Let me know which one you believe has the most licensed hams in the Southern Hemisphere, and we'll make it part of today's program. Peter Tork was hot. Oh my gosh, can't do it. Barry Wendon, the Collins TS12. There you go. There you go, buddy. Gunter in Germany, DK50NV. He's first in. He's got D, Argentina. Nope, not Argentina. Kjell is back from Norway. Lima Bravo 0, Yankee India. He's got A, Australia. No, not Australia, buddy. Aaron Lutzen, Saskatchewan's got D. Nope, it's not Argentina. Barry Wendon, Golf 6, Juliet Mike X-Ray with D. Nope. Jeff in Australia, he's got B, Brazil. He's got 1 for 1. Well done, buddy. There you go. Yeah, it is awesome. It's Brazil. Yep, 32,053 licensees are there. And you can see the other numbers here. Brazil is the number 1 licensed destination throughout the entire Southern Hemisphere. Isn't that amazing? I was like, no. So I checked again, and it kept coming up. Yep, it's definitely Brazil. Question number 2, which these are going to be good. And Harold's not here. Kilo Victor 5 Romeo in Mineral Springs, Texas. I told him, he said, these are easier for me to read. So, yeah, I'll make up some test questions, and we'll just have some trivia that way. Sorry, trivia questions. And we'll see. And then, Harold, you're not here today. Hope you see it on replay. Question 2. How long does a half-wave dipole need to be close to resonant on 1.9 megahertz? A, approximately 260 feet, which is 79.2 meters. B, approximately 493 feet, which is 150.2 meters. C, approximately 302 feet, which is approximately 92 meters. Or would it be D, approximately 246 feet, which is 75 meters? A, B, C, or D. You guys are doing your math now. I know that's happening. Give me a second to give a drink. Hang on a sec. The clues, half-wave dipole, not a full wave, it's a half wave. And it's close to resonance by formula, right? On 1.9 megahertz. First one in is Kjell in Norway. Lima Bravo 0, Yankee India. He has D, approximately 246 feet or 75 meters long. Kjell, you just got it right. Well done. Wow. I'm impressed, actually. I really am. I thought, they'll fight on this one for a while. Aaron had A, Barry with C, Jeff in Australia with C as well. Yeah, this is very close to resonant on 1.9 megahertz. The key is, if you're new to amateur radio, there's a formula. And here in the States, we don't do the metric system. I know. But the key on this is 468 divided by the frequency. That's your formula. And that'll help you on the test too. They typically are asking you for like quarter waves. So if you need a quarter wave, just take 468 divide by 2. You've got 230, was it 234? So yeah, that's how you do it. But a quarter wavelength, 468 divided by 1.9 is right there at 246.4 inches. Yeah. So that's it. And that'll get you close to resonant. And what they tell you too, they'll always say, okay, make it a bit longer. You always want to go a little longer than the measurement tells you, because you can always cut it back just a little bit if you're really trying to narrow it down into like a 1.1 or 1.2 to 1. That's just a piece of advice that I have learned the hard way too many times. Don in Texas, I have a framed ticket from a Monkees concert at Humphreys back in 1989. My wife bought that years ago. That's a great memory, Don. What a great memory. Yeah, they were big for me when I was growing up. I get that completely. All right, guys, last last trivia question for today. Which U.S. states have the highest license? Sorry, let me rephrase it. How many U.S. states, which ones, have the highest ham license population compared to their total population? Okay, so this question basically says, what states have the most hams per capita? Okay, not necessarily the most hams of any state in the union, but the most states compared to the population of the state. Okay, A is California and New York State. B would be Florida and Texas. C would be Idaho and Utah. D, Alaska and California. A, B, C, or D? Good luck. Last question today. Kel, in metric, 143 feet. Oh, no, not for the, excuse me, that's a quarter wave, if you're building a quarter wave, I think. But actually, the formula is correct. I did check. like 3 times. Yeah, it's always 468 if you're building a half wave anything here in the States. So in the metric, we don't do metric here. So we aren't smart enough as you guys are. We've never figured that one out. Aaron says, that was my end-fed long wire, 260 feet back in the day. Dawn from Texas first up on this final trivia question. She's got B, Florida and Texas. That would have been my guess too, 100%, but it's not it. Aaron in Saskatchewan, A, California, New York State. Nope. Gunter also with B. Nope. Chris in New York City's got A. Nope. But you got to show love for your state, right? Jeff in Australia's got A. No. Kill with A. No. Barry with B. No. And Kelly with a little sidebar to make you think a little bit. Stephen Stills was considered for Peter Tork's role first. Yeah, you know what? Peter Tork would be better for TV back then. Just my opinion. You know, I was a kid, so so were you. So who do you think was cuter? Probably Peter Tork, I bet. Bill, save us from your wife here on Peter Tork here. C, Idaho and Utah. By gosh, you got it right. Well done, Bill. There you go. Yep, Idaho and Utah. For the state population, per 100,000 people, both Idaho and Utah have about 1,160 licensees per 100,000 residents. So that's why it is the answer it is. The other ones, like California, has the most licensed people because it's also the most populated state in the union. You'd think Florida and Texas because a lot of people are moving to those states, but nope, not there. And California and Alaska, nobody picked that. But Alaska used to be like the number 1 state in the union compared to the population of Alaska who had ham licenses back in the day. So, and Aaron Lutz came up with D as well. I think that's not a bad guess, honestly. Today's topic question has to do with vintage radio, right? And how you would feel for a week test drive of a vintage radio, meaning something that's not in production right now. You know, so anything not sold new by major manufacturer stores. Okay, I would definitely pick, again, the ASU 5000. I loved mine. It was such a beautiful radio. I also really loved the ICOM 756 Pro 3. That was a great little radio. Wasn't big, easy to take out to a park. It was a really nice little radio. I liked that. Also, I enjoyed the Elecraft K3. That was a neat radio. The one that I had wasn't converted to an S, but it had all the filters in it, and it was a joy to use that radio. It really was. It was a pleasure. A little more menu than the 5000 by far, but there's also like 60 less buttons on it, or knobs too. So, but the K3 was a great radio to use. I enjoyed that one a lot. I think that, you know, the radios made today are so pretty. Guys, I mean, I don't have to tell you that. You know that. The new stuff out today, for the most part, man, they are just eye candy. And if money was no object, oh boy, ooh, I'd be in trouble for sure. Kelly, Peter Tork all the way, not Stephen Stills. Yeah, I could see that, indeed. It's been fun today, guys. Thanks for coming. This is the second show with very little sound effects. All we did was the beginning to welcome you to the show and during trivia. And you guys did great. Bill, total guess. Nope. You're an evil genius. And we all know that's true. Because, sir, you are amazing. You are. If you'd like to get your ham radio license, the Radio Society of Great Britain would love to help you. Don't leave yet. Oh, yep, you know the show's almost over. But don't go yet. Because I have a really unique close down coming. We've never played on this program. It's one of the last of the medium wave stations that have closed down in the United Kingdom. This one was a good music station, and it was on 1215 kilohertz. It's been dark now for 3 years, about 3.5 now, but it was unique. It's very, very popular there as well. I'm glad Radio Caroline's still on the air on medium wave in the UK. That makes me happy. But a lot of the medium wave stations are just going dark because they're so expensive to keep running. Do you know in the United Kingdom, if people that are outside the UK, do you know a lot of those medium wave stations are over 100,000 watt transmitters? No kidding. There are some that are over 200 or 300,000 watts on medium wave. Oh my gosh, it's amazing to me. The stations, and some of them are still on the air there in the United Kingdom. This station, the one we're going to play for a close down, happens to be, they were based in London, and they were pretty popular there. They are still on digital broadcasting. You can catch them on internet as well. But I miss that. I hate to see those stations start to fall away. And as automobile manufacturers continue to evolve, AM radios being pulled out of them. And it's a crying shame, because to give you just a little hint, drive time is when most terrestrial radio stations are listened to, either on the way to work or on your way home, because you get traffic, you get the weather, you get the quick little news update, all that stuff. But for them to go is a big loss. And I don't see any way to stop it, guys. 10 years from now, we may look and there might be a handful left here in the States. And that would be a crying shame in my mind. Oh, I don't know. I could never imagine the world without AM radio. It's going that way, though, guys. But if you would like to get your ham license, Larry got sidetracked. Sorry. It happens. Get a hold of the Radio Society of Great Britain. They're great people, and they know how to find good ham clubs near you. Just tell them you want your ham license and where you live. Hit the Contact Us part of the page of the RSGB, and they will help you get a ham club right next to where you live, as close as possible. www.rsgb.org to the Radio Society of Great Britain. Some of the best people on earth are in that group. They really are. I mean that. Final show comments here real quick. I want to get to Chris, Mrs. Sam. Yeah. Barry, thank you. You're very kind. Golf 6 Juliet Mike X-ray. You're very, very kind. Jeff in Australia, I'd love to build a Heath kit from scratch and operate it. You know, there was one on eBay a couple months ago. It was $5,000. No kidding. It was, I think, an HW 101, so a hot water 101. Brand new, man. Still in the box. I wouldn't think the capacitors would be good anymore. I think it might be a little bit of a problem. A comment of the show real quick. There's quite a few great comments here that I've put a little star next to, and I want to put those up together here. So before we go, comment of the shows. We're really, really good today on this topic question. And there's a lot of comments today, guys. There's a ton of comments. So I'm just trying to find my way back up to the ones that I've marked here. Let me get to Rodney. Hold on. Not that one. There's another one coming up. Not that one. Oh, here we go. This is Spikes. I like this one. I wish that I still had access to the AN/SRC 16 high capacity long range HF communication system that I used on the submarine. That's a great comment, because military gear, man, it's just built to do more. I like that comment, Spike. Thank you very, very much for that. Also, there was another one here from, hold on a second. Just a second. Here we go. Rodney. He's got some really good radios. The ICOM 7200, the Yaesu FT 891, the Siltronics 1011C, and the Yaesu FTDX 5000 MP. That was mine. I would love to have one again. That was in the condition that mine was in for the 5000. Also, the Yaesu FT 450D. I thought it was one of the best bargains there was for entry-level ham radio. Nice comment. Absolutely brilliant. And one final one. This is one from Gunther in Germany. Comment of the show. FT 1000 and the FT 990 were the best flagship transceivers money could buy back in the day. You know, man, we've seen a lot come and go, haven't we? It's good to still be alive to see more, though. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign at ham radio is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Let me know again. Still trying to check everything out for running the show without the sound effects. If you miss them, tell me. If you'd like it without them, I'm good there too. Just trying to make the show better for all of you. Wherever you may be, God bless you. From Central Florida, goodbye, everybody.
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
Mr. Cow.
Yes?
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me? I bite.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
This is Jay Lawrence, and we've got just one more song to play on Absolute Radio 12:15 AM. There will be no more after this. Thank you for listening. And here's our little tribute to 70 years of broadcasting on 12:15 kilohertz AM.
This is the BBC Light Programme. Here is the news. The people of Belgium, beset by strikes, have had a comfortless Christmas, and the socialist trade unions are trying to get more workers out. The number of road deaths in Britain on Christmas Day was considerably lower than last year. Spurs won again this afternoon and keep their 10-point lead in the First Division.
This is the BBC.
Oh, dear.
This is Wallace Greenslade speaking, with a few handy hints for new radio listeners. If at any time during the following half hour you should hear this sound, it means that someone has opened a door.
Look at you, look at you, look at you, look at you. A triumph of technological engineering. A work of art. They can keep their Sistine chapels. Give me the inside of a wireless set any day. A radio station like me forced off the air for the sake of 15 bob. It's ridiculous.
I want to say, guys, all these audio clips are things that were played before on 1215 kilohertz from its inception back when it first came on in the early 60s until they shut it down in January of 2023. That's what you're hearing here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you all very much.
Here's news. Starting in September, the BBC begins a new service for fans of popular music. There'll be light, and then there's pop. Music, 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 all day on the new BBC Popular Channel 247.
But now, with the clock ticking slowly up to 7 a.m., it's going to be time to welcome Radio 1's first early show on 247 meters medium wave. Radio 1, go!
The voice of Radio 1.
I like
you always at this time in the morning to exercise your kneecaps. Now, we should all do this. And just hear mine. I've got lovely kneecaps. Just listen to this. They're nice, aren't they? They are. Come on, rattle them around. That's it. Just get your kneecaps out of bed. And if they need a bit of oiling, then just give them a quick one under the joint. There. That's it.
I don't know what's happened there. We're supposed to have a little jingle, you see, that comes charging in and says it's Wednesday and it's sounds of the 70s, and tonight it's Dancing Jack Peel. It's what it's supposed to say, but I'll tell you what, we'll do it now.
Radio 1 on 247 meters and VHF with sounds of the 70s. Radio 1. Tonight, Top Gear with John Peel.
A fine start, I think you'll agree, to practically any programme. On this week's programme we have Ralph McTell, Home and Stackbridge.
If you're a medium wave listener, 247 meters, that's 1215 kilohertz, goodness knows what will come out of your set when you switch on tomorrow morning.
BBC Radio 3, now broadcasting on medium wave on 1215 kilohertz, that's 247 meters. The lovely Princess Radio 3 has been asleep, awaiting the prince who will come through the thickets of frequencies and wavelengths, electronic foliage tendrilling in and out of jack fields all over the country. And now the Lilac Fairy has done her stuff again and guided you through all the obstacles put in your way and brought you to the land at the other end of the cyclorama. Wonderful 247 meters.
He's going to have a slip point, forward short leg. He's got a long leg. This is for the left-handed guy. A mid-wicket, a mid-on, a mid-off, extra cover, and a point.
Hello to everyone here in Manchester and across the UK. It's 12:15 on Friday, April 30th, 1993. A date which will go down, we hope, in broadcasting history. I'm Richard Branson, and this is the radio station I've always wanted to hear. I hope you'll find it the station you too have always wanted to hear.
Which is going to hear. Good afternoon from Graham D. Now, the Emperor Rascal at your service. And it's rather hard to believe, music lovers, right? Not hard. Good afternoon, Russ Williams here for another hour.
We mean much more music, not just a glib phrase. It's complete intentions.
I'm Howard Pearson. This is Richard Forster.
My name is Shunker Dooley. It's Edward Sissontown's over here.
I keep forgetting we're doing a show, you see, because I've been away so long. I think I'm just chatting with a couple of fools.
I'm Chris. This is John. Hi. This is Hall.
Hello.
This is Jamie. Hello. And this is Dan. Good morning.
This is Harriet Scott.
This is Mark Forrest. Tonight I'm with Pete and Jeff. The lovely Leona Graham, accompanied as ever by little puppet dog Daisy.
This is Leona Graham.
I've been used to saying something else, so just bear with me. All right. Virgin, 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 4:15, Virgin, 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 Sleeping Breakfast Show, Virgin, 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 Virgin.
Ian Lee.
How about rock and roll?
In 18 minutes, 20 minutes, we will be revealing exclusively what the new name for Virgin... We'll get rid of it. It's a rubbish name, isn't it? All rubbish name for a station. Who thought of that? It's going. It's going to be a new name. Vinny.
Can I guess the radio name?
Oh, yeah, what do you think the radio station's going to be called?
It's not Virgin anymore, is it?
No, it's because that's right. That's the point. We're getting rid of it, yes.
It's Had Sex Radio.
Just give a second for the whole of the country to laugh at that.
10, 9...
6, 5, 4, 3, 2... Who's going to be the first to talk? It's 7:47, the Christian O'Connell Breakfast Show on Absolute Radio. God, that feels brilliant. So we are now Absolute Radio. You can discover more at our website, of course, absoluteradio.co.uk. This was a song you all voted for to be #1 as it went from V to A. And what another brilliant song, another absolute classic.
One last thing. Have you considered writing me into your will?
I did consider it. Yeah, but you know what? I thought, fuck it. I got in the car and Absolute was on, and it was impressive. I send you my compliments.
We've had a power cut, everyone! The generator hasn't even switched on.
Sunday night on Absolute Radio. This
to take. I'm an absolute beginner. But I'm absolutely sane. As long as we're together. The rest can go to hell. I absolutely love you. But we're absolute beginners. With eyes completely open. With nervous to listen. If I loved some, would fly over mountains, would sail over heartaches, just like the films. If there's reasons to feel all the hard times, to lay down the hard lines, it's absolute
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio continues to be the station where real music matters.
Join us on DAB Digital Radio.
On the free Absolute Radio app.
Or ask your smart speaker to play Absolute Radio.
All the information is at absoluteradio.co.uk/listen.
And to 12:15 a.m., thanks. You were brilliant.
Absolute Radio is no longer available on this frequency. We're no longer broadcasting on AM, but it's easy to keep listening to Absolute Radio. Digital radio is free and can work in your car or van too. There are all sorts of adapters and connectors you can use, and you can find out more about these at absoluteradio.co.uk/listen. And of course, there's a free Absolute Radio app. Just download it to your phone and get all the Absolute radio stations plus lots more. And again, you can easily use Bluetooth or plug your device into the auxiliary input in your car radio. So, just a reminder, Absolute Radio is no longer available on this frequency. There are a number of good reasons we've made this change. And you can find out all the information on our website. The address is absoluteradio.co.uk/listen. That's also the webpage to go to find out about all the different ways you can keep listening to Absolute Radio. absoluteradio.co.uk/listen. Thanks for listening to Absolute Radio, and we hope you'll keep listening on digital radio, on the free Absolute Radio app, or ask your smart speaker to play Absolute Radio.
That's all, folks.